one light reveals the longliner and its heavy longline gear, staged for a regulated giant shark set.
Deckhands crimp wire leaders and check circle hook points, building rigs that survive a shark's jaw.
On the bridge, paper charts and weather notes guide a longline set designed for deep, cold water.
A safety briefing means every hand knows tail rope positions, de-hooker reach, and the danger of slackline.
Hydraulic rollers spin under test, and the line hauler is tuned for steady pressure during long flights.
Oily bait chunks are packed for each circle hook, keeping scent strong and handling clean on deck.
Floats, weights, and swivels are staged in order, ensuring the longline fishes at the intended depth band.
A padded shark cradle and long-handled de-hooker are positioned, reducing stress and keeping fingers away from teeth. Below deck, generators hum and hydraulic pumps warm, supporting hauling power through cold spray and heavy loads.
Under work lights, the main line is flaked into tubs, and circle hooks are covered to prevent snags.
The vessel steams toward offshore grounds, while seabirds trail the wake and deck gear stays lashed tight. Before the set begins, knots are rechecked and circle hooks are counted, matching rig numbers to log sheets. Bait is threaded onto circle hooks in steady rhythm, and each gudgeon is clipped to the main line. The line shooter feeds the main line over the stern and floats mark spacing across the swell line. Lead weights drop at intervals, pulling the long line down and keeping baited hooks below surface chop. Wire leaders and swivels click into place, building a shark-ready rig that resists teeth and twisting runs.
From the waterline, buoys bob once and then settle as the long line sinks into dark green layers.
A high flag buoy drops and drifts astern, marking the set without any on-screen navigation graphics. Night work lights flare, and baited circle hooks vanish over the rail while spray beads on gloves. A chum block dissolves slowly, laying a scent line that pulls pelagic scavengers toward the longline corridor. Deckhands check splices and snap clips, keeping hook spacing consistent so tangles do not build at depth. The final buoy goes over, and the long line begins soaking unseen while the vessel holds station upcurrent. Decks are hosed clean, and spare circle hooks are rinsed and stowed to keep rust off points. Set time and gear counts are written in a paper logbook, creating a record that matches each buoy.
In the galley, hot food returns strength as the long line soaks and the next hauling window is planned.
A night watch scans swells and drifting debris, protecting the buoy line from collisions and prop damage. The bridge team checks headings and current, keeping electronic displays off camera while the vessel idles quietly. At first light, the buoy reappears ahead, and the deck crew stages boat hooks, poles, and de-hookers.
A grappling hook snags the buoy line, and the wet rope feeds into the hauler under controlled tension.
The hauler starts pulling steadily, and the long line rises toward daylight, bringing the first leaders to hand. Hauler drums bite into wet line, and vibration runs through the rail as the first leaders approach. An empty circle hook rises clean, showing bait theft at depth and setting the tone for a long haul. Out of the black, a great white slides in, silent until it strikes.
The circle hook rotates into position as the shark closes, designed for the jaw corner.
A mid-sized shark surfaces in gray water, and a circle hook sits cleanly at the corner of its mouth.
A great white surfaces, powerful, controlled, and close to the boat.
Hook and mouth proof is clear. The circle hook is set cleanly at the jaw corner. Fresh bait goes on, and the gangin snaps back to the main line as hauling continues without pause. Wind stiffens across the deck, and spray bursts over the bulwark, while the hauler maintains constant pace. Several leaders come up empty, and fishermen scan hook points for bend, rust, and snapped bait ties.
A larger shark rolls at the surface, circle hook visible in the jaw hinge, and the leader thrums under strain.
Proof stays centered as the hook backs out cleanly, no tearing, no drama.
Close camera sees sandpaper skin and a steady eye as the shark holds beside the hull in current.
The D-hooker twists once, the circle hook pops free, and the shark slips under with a single tail beat.
A chafed wire leader is swapped out, and new crimps are pressed tight before the next fish arrives.
Back to rhythm, guard, coil, check, repeat. They fix chafe now. Preventing a break is faster than chasing disaster. Seabirds hover over the slick, and deckhands watch for drifting lines that can snag the propeller.
The hauler slows as a heavy pull transfers to the deck, signaling another shark still fighting on the leader.
A long-bodied blue shark surfaces, circle hook visible at the mouth corner, and the crew angles it into calm water. A long-handled D-hooker reaches the bend, and the circle hook is removed without lifting the shark over the rail.
Hooks are rebaited from covered trays, and each gangin is inspected for twist before it returns to sea.
Clouds race overhead during a brief pause, and the main line is held steady to avoid slack tangles.
A roller squeals, and the line is stopped while hands clear kelp and grit from the hauler groove. Hauling resumes, rope dripping steadily, and the next leader climbs toward the surface with bait still intact.
Shredded glow and twist suggest a bigger great white fought deeper and longer, but the crew keeps the deck calm and controlled.
Fishermen brace at the rail, keeping the line angle clean while the wire leader sings under load.
It hits the surface like a freight train, pure muscle and momentum. Hook and mouth proof is unmistakable. Clean set, clean control point.
The shark rolls slowly, churning white water, and the leader twists as the crew keeps hands clear. Even in the chaos, the hook proof flashes, clean set at the jaw corner. The bridge orders a slow turn, keeping pressure even so the circle hook stays planted in cartilage.
The shark resurfaces with a broad head and heavy shoulders, and spray blows across the camera lens. At the surface, the shark's eye stays dark and calm, and the circle hook remains visible at the mouth.
A powerful tail sweep throws spray, and the wire leader vibrates as the shark tries to sound again.
Swivels spin hot under tension, and gloved hands manage slack carefully, avoiding wraps around wrists. A tail rope and lifting sling are readied, and a crane hook swings into position above the rail.
The giant shark breaches fully, water streaming off its flanks, and the circle hook flashes at the jaw.
It slams back into the sea and dives, and the main line snaps tight with a deep, humming strain. Damaged hooks are replaced now. Deep work rewards perfect steel. A bubble trail rises beside the leader, and the shark's circles tighten, pulling the sling line closer.
The tail rope loop drops over the peduncle, cinches firm, and control replaces chaos at the surface.
With the shark steadied, the lifting sling is worked under its belly, guided by poles and timing. The crane takes weight slowly, raising the shark alongside the hull as water drains from its skin.
The shark settles into a padded cradle on deck and straps a position to keep it from rolling. The D-hooker frees the circle hook, and a guard snaps on before anyone steps forward. The great white swims off under its own power as the surface settles back into silence.
Details go into a waterproof log, and a plain tag is attached near the dorsal to match paperwork.
With the giant shark secured, fishermen exchange quick high fives, then return immediately to the remaining haul.
Wet towels cover the shark's eyes, and straps are tightened to stabilize the body for the run home.
Decks are rinsed and scuppers cleared, keeping the work zone safe as hauling resumes in rolling seas.
Hauling continues past empty hooks, and the main line coils neatly while fishermen watch for the next bite.
Another large shark surfaces on a circle hook, and it is released alongside after a quick, clean D-hook.
Bent hooks are swapped for sharp circle hooks, and leaders are rechecked for kinks and broken strands.
Sunset turns the sea copper, and tired faces rotate off watch while the hauler keeps pulling steadily.
Under night lights, leaders rise in a steady chain, and every circle hook is checked for a clean set. Waves build, and the deck pitches harder, forcing slower motions as leaders swing dangerously close to railings. A frayed section appears, and the line is stopped while a fresh splice restores strength and alignment. Knives trim tag ends, and a splice is buried and seized, keeping the main line smooth through hauler rollers.
The next shark comes up calm, circle hook visible, and it is guided away from the prop wash for release.
Fresh bait replaces washed-out pieces, and hooks return overboard to keep the scent trail unbroken through the night. Spare circle hooks sit in covered bins, and a light rinse prevents salt crust from dulling points.
The final third of the long line reaches the hauler, and fatigue shows in the shoulders as the pace holds.
A last big shark surfaces on a clean circle hook, and it is dehooked and released with minimal handling.
Main line coils into tubs, leaders are stacked, and hook guards return, resetting order after hours of hauling.
Catch totals are tallied on waterproof boards, separating retained sharks from released animals under permit rules.
Gear is secured with lashings, and the deck is scrubbed clean so the next phase begins without hazard. A chilled hold is prepared with clean ice and drainage, ready to receive the giant shark without exposing flesh.
The crane lifts the shark in its sling, and the load swings carefully toward the open hatch.
The shark is lowered into the hold intact, fins naturally attached, and ice is packed to stabilize temperature.
With the catch stowed, the vessel steadies on a new heading, and morning light returns across the wake.
Hauling ends and the focus shifts to cold chain discipline, protecting quality from deck to dock. Inside the chilled hold, ice and drainage keep the shark stable while airflow and cleanliness are maintained.
Hooks are rinsed and guarded again, resetting the system for the next set.
They wash down the deck, salt and spray never get time to harden.
Every connection is inspected again because tomorrow's failure starts today. Knives, tables, and gloves are washed and sanitized, keeping the processing area clean even without visible cutting. Plain insulated containers are staged and liners are set, preparing a cold chain handoff without branding or labels.
The hatch is sealed, gaskets checked, and the hold returns to darkness as the vessel increases speed.
On the return transit, fishermen monitor lashings and ice supply, correcting small shifts before they grow.
Coastline appears under low cloud, and the longliner lines up for port, while deck gear stays tied down.
Mooring lines tighten against bollards, and fenders compress as the vessel settles, keeping crew movements controlled.
A deck crane lifts plain containers from the hatch,
minimizing exposure time and keeping the cold chain continuous.
Containers slide into a refrigerated trailer, and doors close quickly, holding temperature without any on-screen readings. Paperwork is signed and stamped at the rail, linking set records to shipment lots through a simple chain of custody.
After offload, the deck is washed again, and scuppers run clear, removing salt and residue from gear.
Circle hooks are rinsed, dried, and stored, and wire leaders are coiled to prevent kinks between trips.
In quiet harbor light, tired fishermen rest on deck, while the longliner sits still for the first time.
Stacks of tubs, leaders, and hooks show the scale of the operation, now cleaned and ready for reuse. The season closes with one giant shark landed, and strict handling turns hard work into safe, chilled product.